Ziua bună! Sunt Ovidiu Vanghele, sunt jurnalist. La invitația colegilor de la Centrul de Resurse Juridice sunt moderatorul unei serii de podcasturi pe niște subiecte de mare interes în primul rând pentru colegii și partenerii în multe proiecte editoriale pe care le-am avut, partenerii organizației din care fac parte, Centrul de Investigații Media. O am alături de mine pe Georgiana Pascu, director de program la CRJ. Bună și îți mulțumesc că ai venit și îți mulțumesc pentru tot sprijinul în realizarea acestei serii de discuții.
Bună, Ovidiu! Mulțumim frumos pentru găzduire și pentru ajutor.
Oricând, cu mare drag. Alături de noi, prin Skype, este o super doamnă, fost comisar-șef de poliție în engleză, pentru că o să vorbim de la un moment dat încolo numai în engleză, ca să ne putem înțelege cu doamna. O avem, spuneam, pe o doamnă absolut interesantă, police superintendent, asta este în engleză, nu, titulatura dânsei. Ani de zile s-a ocupat în sistemul de justiție norvegian cu tot ce presupune audierea victimelor în primul rând minori, dar și persoane aflate în tot soiul de condiții medicale care le pun pe persoanele respective într-o formă de dificultate, nu? Predispoziție până la urmă și la abuz și așa mai departe. Cumva exact ce faceți voi la CRJ și uneori și noi când ajungem ca jurnaliști să scriem despre ce se întâmplă prin centre și așa mai departe. Deci invitata noastră de astăzi, Sigrid Buseth se numește, este omul care până la urmă reușește să scoată de la victime povestea corectă, astfel încât eventualii făptuitori, oamenii care le-au făcut rău acestor persoane, să poată fi, nu, în final judecate, înțeleasă fapta lor, după aia judecate și, sigur, dacă e cazul, condamnate pentru lucrurile pe care le-au săvârșit. E corectă introducerea?
Da, ideea este că Sigrid, care a ajuns la noi prin intermediul partenerului din Norvegia, Institutul Norvegian pentru Drepturile Omului din cadrul Universității din Oslo.
Ok.
A fost deja aici împreună cu noi anul trecut, a format câțiva zeci de ofițeri de poliție din cadrul IGPR și DCCO, combaterea criminalității organizate. Și ceea ce ne-a fascinat și ne-a ajutat foarte mult a fost experiența în domeniul pregătirii și audierii victimelor minore, victime ale abuzurilor sexuale. Și de la Sigrid am învățat o mulțime de lucruri. Astăzi, din nou, am stat de vorbă cu ea și cu aproape 100, cred că mai mult de 100 de invitații am avut într-o altă discuție online, în care din nou ne-a ajutat să înțelegem mai bine pașii pe care trebuie să îi parcurgă, mai ales ofițerii de poliție și, de ce nu, procurorii când pregătesc planul de anchetă și, de fapt, audierea acestor victime. Ceea ce spuneai tu mai devreme apropo de legătura pe care o putem crea în sensul acesta de formare cu experții Centrului de Resurse Juridice care merg în vizitele de monitorizare neanunțate în centre de plasament pentru copii, mă refer acum, cu dizabilități, dar și în ceea ce privește pregătirea pentru eventualele audieri, atunci când avem această șansă, este foarte, foarte adevărat, pentru că multe din conceptele pe care ea le-a dezvoltat și despre care o să vorbească și informațiile pe care ea ne le-a furnizat sunt teribil de utile, indiferent în ce domeniu activăm. Dacă avem de condus o discuție și, de ce nu, o investigație cu privire la drepturile copiilor cu dizabilități.
Ok, păi să auzim, vom începe să vorbim în engleză. Thank you, Sigrid, for taking the time to be with us. So, my first question would be, do we have Sigrid Buseth here in Romania, in the Romanian legal system, in the police or in the prosecutor's office or whatever? Do we have people that have your expertise already, or are you now the one that forms them? This would be my first question.
I'm not sure if I understand that I am the... if you have the persons in your legal system?
Yeah, if we do have people with your capacities, with your trainings, with your expertise in this particular matter of, preparing kids for being, for going to a hearing in court or whatever, do we have people with your expertise here? Do we already have them? Or you're now forming them? That's my question.
Yes, I have been invited to Romania for a couple of times today and sometimes earlier to talk about this kind of investigating interviews. So I don't think you have the same system in Romania as we have in Norway, but I'm a bit unsure about how your system is working, actually.
Well, I understand you perfectly. We're not trying to make a comparison here or something, but, the idea is that we have the same need. We've got a lot of children that are victims of all sorts of abuses, and these abuses have to be understood. First, to be understood in order then, possibly, if the case is there, to be prosecuted. Or even, sentenced, those people or something like that. So, again, do you think that we have the people we need in order to understand the whole, the whole case of a kid who's been, sexually abused or something?
Yes, it's still a bit difficult for me to answer to, but I think you have another system with interviewing children in Romania than we have in Norway. And for some years ago, in the 90s, we didn't have a good enough system to interview those children, to understand what they said and what they meant, and also we had psychologists conducting interviews, and they didn't have the skills from an investigator, so they didn't consider the rights of the suspects, and they didn't consider the confirmation bias and the hypothesis. So I think maybe at least Norway have learned a lot the last 30 years in how to investigate these kind of cases and understanding the children. So maybe you are in a bit where we were some years ago. I'm not sure because I'm not that familiar with your system, actually.
Well, I, to some extent, even me as a journalist, but also Joe as a more expert in this, if I may say so, can confirm this. But my question is, what have you done societally in Norway in order to raise from the moment you were mentioning, the 90s, the Norwegian society in the 90s was something, and now it's something else. You raised the bar, if I may say so. How did you do that? What the first thing that's coming to my mind is that eventually you mixed a police officer with a psychologist. Am I right? Is it?
No, not. We don't mix it, but when we conduct interviews of the children victims, it's always a police officer conducting these interviews, and we do it in a children's house, barnehouse, where they are taken good care of, and we also have psychologists working in the barnehouse to help the police officer to find the best way to conduct the interviews. But the police officers that are conducting the interviews is the only one in the room with the child, and they are special trained to do these interviews. They have been training in development psychology and witness psychology, and also they have good skills investigating, so they can see the whole picture. And this investigating interview is a puzzle bit in the big picture, and we have to be careful not to destroy or we have to ask a question in a way that we don't assume anything. We have to be open to any solutions. And the police officers that does these interviews, they are very good skilled because they have been studying this methodology. And what we did in the 90s, we developed based on the peace investigating interview model from England, which is very well research found. It's a fundamental of research, and we made a model that all the interviews should be done within this investigating interviewing model. We call it the dialogical communication model.
Well, it's something, what I was trying to say earlier is that you combine like two individuals, the policeman and the psychologist, into one. This is what I was thinking, making half policeman, half psychologist in order to make sure that he takes into account all these aspects of the thing happening, and also the legal stuff. I mean, you still have to find the information that are needed in the legal framework that we were discussing. So this balance is probably something that we should also learn. What do you think, Georgiana?
Yeah, totally agree with you. I mean, Sigrid already, we know from our previous discussions that I'm a big fan of her model. And something that I'm also thinking that we should apply here is this model that she developed in Norway, which might be called here in Romania procedural adjustment for people with intellectual or developmental disabilities. And she knows very well what I'm thinking. It's that first, maybe you can explain us a little bit about the way in which you start in that pre-interviewing stage. How do you actually prepare
and connect with the subject, right? That should be
with the person.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Please tell us more about this.
Yes, because in this model I mentioned, we have a preliminary phase, the preparation phase, where we prepare for the interview. And in this phase, it's very important to prepare us as an interviewer and the investigating interview, and also the victim that we're going to interview, and also the caregiver that is going to follow the child to the interview. And then we have to start the rapport building with the victim already before we meet each other. So we have to give information, what is going to happen, who am I, how is the room, the interview room, and give as much information as possible so that the victim should feel safe and secure. And we have also to prepare on the case, all the details from the case. Where did the information come from? Which are the suspicion, and who has the victim talked to in the meantime? And we have to do a lot of preparation so that when we come into the interview room, we know as much as possible about the child, how he or she is communicating, and how the language is, what kind of question can we ask, if it so it won't be too difficult, and so on. And also, I didn't mention that the prosecutor is the one that is the head of the interview. So the prosecutor will always be present in the interview, not in the room, but in the back office, watching the interview together with the lawyer and the psychologist and the technical and everyone, because we videotape all the interviews. So the first phase in the interview methodology is the preparation. And I used to send a letter to the caregiver to prepare the child or the vulnerable person, if it's an adult that is disabled, mentally disabled or anything like that. And I send a picture of me so that she or he can start to get to know me.
And so, also all the stages, maybe you can also mention this, that you fix, you can set in time what it will happening, and I mean, this is also part of the preparation. It's important for the child to know
what's going to happen exactly. But then again, this thing with sending a picture of you is really interesting, because it's like trying to make yourself familiar. So it's going to be me. Hello, nice meeting you. I mean, yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. So you've been thinking of everything, basically. Yeah. So
yes, and
following this, pre-interview tactic of yours, what's gonna happen when you enter, the place and finally meet the individual that you're supposed to hear, basically? What's gonna happen?
If it's a child or a vulnerable person that is going to meet at the children's house, it's important to say that these interviews are evidence. It's we use the recording in the court, so the person has not doesn't have to meet in court if it's a court case. So we record everything, and they meet at the children's house. And then I can say to the child or the person that, hello, my name is Sigrid. Did you see my picture? And often they say, yes. Do I look like my picture? And we start to get the connection. So already then, they are familiar with what is going to happen. And also it's important that I give as much information as I can to the interviewee before, so that she or he knows what it is all about. Of course, not if the child is 3 years.
Yeah.
She or he won't remember or understand, but if it's, say, a 9-10-year-old child, they will wonder, why am I going to talk to the police? And they have a right to know, just as me and you, if we are asked to come to the police to give a statement, we, of course, want to know what it is
what
all
is it
about.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking now, I have an example that it's so different here in Romania than Sigrid's experience. I recall a discussion in a center for children in a particular county in Romania. So we met a girl, and she was in an emergency center for minors. She was sexually harassed by an adult, and during our discussion, she told us Yeah, I mean, I've talked with the police officer. It was a man, and we asked her, so, I mean, how was the discussion? Everything is okay? And she said, yes, but at a moment I've told him that I'm really sorry for this man, because she heard that he was now in the police lockups, and he will be sent to the jail, so on. And she said, I felt so bad because the police officer told me at the end, you destroy my case with your discussion, because she mentioned at the moment in time that she's really sorry for this guy, because this is what it will happen to him, and she felt so bad for this.
But I think everything you've already told us about this is like wrong. I mean, the policeman should never tell, the interviewed person, the consequences of his, the legal consequences for the perpetrator, right? Am I right, Sigrid?
But this is also something that Sigrid explained, that, and maybe you can also add today as well, that it's really important when you are interviewing a victim of sexual abuse as well, how to discuss about and how to take in consideration all of these vulnerabilities.
Yeah, also being a man interviewing a little girl about something like this, I think it's, I don't know,
really.
maybe
she
I'm
also
wrong.
has an explanation for
Okay,
this.
let's hear it, Sigrid.
Yeah, we don't say that it must be a woman interviewing a girl, because it's the skills by the investigator or the interviewer that is important. And
interesting. Yeah, it makes sense eventually.
Yeah, the most important is that you make the person you are going to interview feel comfort and safe, and you have to tune into the person you are meeting, speak a language that she or he understand, and you must be curious, and you must also have knowledge about barriers that can make the child or the interviewee not telling you, and that is very important, especially in sexual abuse cases, because it's so many barriers that can make the child not want to tell. It can be fear, threaten, it can be love for the perpetrator, it can be feeling you have done something wrong yourself. So
like in this case, Georgiana was mentioning, that was some sort of a guilt. Hey, I'm really sorry for what I've done. Yeah, blah blah blah. Yeah, you're right.
Yes. So we have to know about these things. So when the child or the victim is saying things like that, you must understand that this is totally normal, that they feel this way, because many people are not just bad, they are good as well. And many victims are very dependent of the perpetrator. They give them food, house, money, everything they need, but even though they maybe beat them or sexual abuse them, but what should they do if the perpetrator will go to jail? So it's very many conflicts in these victims. So we have to understand.
Yeah, you need to balance everything. Yeah, it makes sense. But on the other hand, I'm thinking, what if I mean, what would you do in a case as Georgiana mentioned? So you're interviewing the victim who says, well, I feel really, really bad for the one that assaulted me, basically. What will you be saying in order to also comfort the kid's situation, but also get the information needed in order to have the perpetrator punished eventually, right? What do you do?
Yeah, you can show that you understand that can be difficult, but it's very important for you to get all the information what really happened, and it's someone else that is going to take the decision about what is going to happen with the perpetrator. So it isn't anyone's fault, and it isn't the victim's fault that he is going to jail. So if he has done something wrong, someone else, the prosecutor or a lawyer,
the
and
judiciary,
it depends the age, have to find out later. So I think you shouldn't talk to what is going to happen with the perpetrator. You are just going to be curious to get as much information about what really happened and to be open for every solution, what could have happened.
Well, yeah, that's quite interesting. And I wonder now, because we're, closely going towards the end of our discussion, what was your take? What is your take on what's in Romania right now? I mean, you've talked to people and tried to, teach them even your expertise in order to level them up. What do you think? How do you feel that these people understand you here, and that they will actually be, Sigrid, at some point in time in their careers?
I think they seem very open, learning about how they can do it as best as possible for the victims and for the children, and also for the suspect children. That is also a difficult task. But I think you have to implement a common methodology to do this, and in your framework and in your legislations and rules, you have to implement a methodology that everyone uses and everyone is familiar with the way you should conduct the interviews, and so that you can cooperate with the prosecutors, police officers, psychologists. Everyone knows that this is the way you are going to conduct the interviews, and then you can prepare and do it as best as possible. So I think you're ready to do it, but it has to come from the inside. Some in your police and in your system has to be very interesting in making a good model and get it into all the parts of the justice system.
So hopefully, basically you're saying that some of the system at least is prepared to jump to the next level, and this jump would mean like having a proper methodology. So I also understand that you are here to help us with that, and hoping that the openness will be at least to the extent that it is right now. These are my final thoughts. Also, Georgiana, if you want to add something before we close this.
I think Sigrid, I don't know, gave us a lot of inspiration, if I can say like this, on how we can work and how we can use all of these psychological tools in order to prepare for hearings, but also to support the person during the hearing. And she also gave us information from the Norwegian model on some other important aspects, as the one on identifying any kind of challenges that the person might experience just before the
prior
hearing.
To the
exactly, because this will prepare you I know, to raise questions and conduct the interview.
Yeah, you have to know the person you're interviewing. That's that's also my job. I mean, when I'm preparing to go and talk to someone, first I'll try to understand as much as possible who that guy is. Who is he? What's he like? what kind of person he is. So it makes all the sense in the world to me what Sigrid is saying.
But also watching Sigrid in our previous meetings and training with police officers from a couple of months ago, I also started to see that actually we are missing so many, not only the tools and experience, but also resources in our system, because we are continually discussing about procedural adjustment, as she mentioned already, with the picture and with the letter. So this is something that I think it's quite easily to prepare in advance and just have and send it to people before your interview. But there is also
this small thing would change a lot.
Exactly. But there is and the part of this intuitive and inside I don't know, how can I say, idea. So you want to do your job better.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I'm also thinking that the other example that she gave is to us is that when you are organizing and conducting the interview, you don't take notes because you have to watch the victim, for instance, which means that you need at least 2 police officers to do this, because one should conduct the interview and the other one should
it's
take
2025.
notes.
You should have a camera, and that's it.
Am
I wrong, Sigrid? You should have
absolutely
a camera, and
right.
that's it. Yeah, I mean it's
You're
just
absolutely right.
We've got 3 cameras here, so it's
but then you need another I don't know how many hours to take notes from the recorded interview. No,
well, I don't know, you can change the law and just send the video file, and the judge just looks at the things you send, and everything is fine, or it should be.
We transcript all these interviews of children, but it's not the police officer that conduct the interview that does it.
Yeah,
we can send it to other people that are good in writing, and we send the video, and they are sitting writing the transcription.
Yeah.
So they are trained on it.
Yeah.
So anyway, you need, more than how can I say, experience. You also need more resources, and I think this is important. That if we want to change the system for the benefits of victims and also to provide efficient access to justice to vulnerable groups, then we should get more resources, I think.
Yeah, but then again, I think these things are normal in 2025. These things should be happening in a EU country in 2025, and I hope that with Sigrid's help, Romania will take decisive steps forward in order to, finally to get more civilized. Well, thank you. Thank you, Sigrid, for everything, and thank you for the really interesting and some of them even mind-blowing to me aspects of your training and your expertise. I hope to meet you at some point, possibly in a training in Romania. It would be, I have to admit, really interesting for me also, and I'm not, a judiciary or something. I'm just a journalist, but it makes really, really good and much sense to me also. So thank you for everything. Thank you, Georgiana, and hope to see you at some point in life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.